Chapter 7. The Guardian's Awakening. The dawn painted the sky in shades of pink and gold as Mariana opened her eyes. A week had passed since her confrontation with her Uncle Ernesto's shadow, and the garden seemed to vibrate with renewed energy. Every leaf, every flower, every blade of grass pulsed with a vitality that Mariana could feel in the depths of her being. She rose from the bed, stretching like a lazy feline, and approached the window. The garden stretched out before her, a living tapestry of colors and shapes that seemed to change and flow with each blink. Mariana smiled, feeling a connection with the place she had never experienced before. "Good morning," she whispered to the garden, and felt as if 1,000 voices responded in a collective whisper. As she dressed, Mariana reflected on the changes she had experienced in recent weeks. She was no longer the skeptical botanist who had arrived at this place seeking answers about a barely remembered uncle. Now she was the guardian of the Garden of Souls, a bridge between worlds, a healer of lost spirits. She stepped out onto the porch, where Curie was already waiting. The spirit child smiled upon seeing her, his eyes shining with an ancient wisdom that contrasted with his youthful appearance. "It's time," Curie said simply. Mariana nodded, understanding without need for further explanation. Today was the day she would begin her true training as a guardian. Together, they ventured into the garden. Mariana noticed how the plants seemed to bow as she passed, as if greeting her. She could feel the energy of the place flowing through her, connecting her to every living being that surrounded her. They arrived at a clearing Mariana had never seen before. In the center, a circle of ancient stones surrounded a small pond of crystal-clear water. The surface of the water shimmered with a supernatural glow, reflecting a sky that was not the one Mariana saw above her head. "This is the Mirror of Souls," Curie explained. "Here is where you will learn to see beyond the veils that separate the worlds." Mariana approached the edge of the pond, fascinated by the changing reflections on its surface. For a moment, she thought she saw faces in the water, scenes from distant places and forgotten times. "What should I do?" she asked, not taking her eyes off the water. "Close your eyes," Curie instructed. "Feel the garden's energy flowing through you. Let it guide you, show you what you need to see." Mariana obeyed, closing her eyes and breathing deeply. At first, she felt nothing more than the gentle breeze on her face and the warm sun on her skin. But then, little by little, she began to perceive something more. It was like a soft hum, a vibration that seemed to emanate from the earth itself. "Listen," Curie whispered. "Listen to the voices of the souls seeking your help." And then, Mariana heard them. They were whispers at first, barely audible. But with each breath, they became clearer. Voices that spoke of pain, of loss, of unfulfilled yearnings. Voices that pleaded for help, understanding, release. She opened her eyes and gasped. The pond before her no longer reflected the sky, but a myriad of faces and scenes. She saw a young woman crying over a grave, an old man looking nostalgically at a faded photograph, a child lost in a dark forest. "Who are they?" Mariana asked, her voice barely a whisper. "They are the souls that need your help," Curie replied. "Some are trapped between worlds, unable to move on. Others are lost in their own pain. Your task as guardian is to guide them, help them find peace." Mariana extended a trembling hand towards the water's surface. The moment her fingers touched the liquid, she felt as if she were being absorbed by it. Suddenly, she found herself in a different place, a cemetery bathed in moonlight. Before her was the young woman she had seen crying. Mariana could feel her pain as if it were her own, a heart-wrenching emptiness in her chest. "Who are you?" the young woman asked, looking at Mariana with eyes full of tears. "I'm someone who wants to help," Mariana responded softly. "Can you tell me what's troubling you?" The young woman sobbed, pointing to the gravestone in front of her. "My sister. She died a year ago, but I can't let her go. I feel it's my fault, that I should have been there for her." Mariana felt a wave of compassion. She extended her hand, taking the young woman's. "The love you feel for your sister is beautiful," she said. "But carrying that guilt doesn't honor her. She wouldn't want to see you suffer like this." As she spoke, Mariana felt the garden's energy flowing through her. She saw images of the young woman's sister, smiling, laughing, full of life. Your sister is at peace, Mariana continued. I can feel it. She wants you to be happy, to live the life she can no longer live. The young woman looked at her, her eyes widening in surprise. How can you know that? Mariana smiled gently. Because I can feel her love for you. It's so strong that it transcends death itself. Honor her memory by living fully, not by clinging to pain. As she spoke, a soft light began to emanate from the gravestone. The young woman gasped, watching in amazement as the translucent figure of her sister materialized before them. Maria, the spirit said, her voice like a gentle breeze. I love you, little sister. But it's time for you to let me go. Live, laugh, love. Do it for me. Maria sobbed, but this time her tears were of relief, of release. I love you, she whispered. And I promise I'll live for both of us. The spirit smiled, beginning to fade. Before disappearing completely, she looked at Mariana with gratitude. Thank you, guardian, she whispered. In the blink of an eye, Mariana found herself back in the clearing, beside the Mirror of Souls. Curie was looking at her with a mixture of pride and amazement. You've done well, the spirit child said. You've helped 2 souls find peace today. Mariana blinked, confused. 2. Curie smiled. The young woman and her sister. Both were trapped in pain, and you freed them. Mariana felt a surge of emotion, a mixture of joy and responsibility. She now understood the magnitude of her task as guardian. She wasn't just tending to plants, she was healing souls, uniting worlds, restoring balance. This is just the beginning, Curie said, as if reading her thoughts. Each day will bring new challenges, new souls that need your help. But remember, Mariana, your greatest strength is your compassion. It's what connects you to the garden, to the souls, to the very essence of life. Mariana nodded, feeling a new determination blossoming within her. She looked at the garden surrounding her, now seeing not just plants and flowers, but a living, pulsating world, full of interconnected stories and souls. I'm ready, she said, her voice full of conviction. As the sun reached its zenith, bathing the garden in a golden light, Mariana felt she had found her true purpose. The path ahead would be challenging, full of trials and difficulties. But it would also be full of wonders, of discoveries, of the pure joy of healing and connecting. The Garden of Souls had found its new guardian, and she was ready to embrace her destiny with all her heart. With each step she took, with each soul she helped, Mariana felt she was weaving a new story, not just for herself, but for all the beings she touched. And so, under the blue sky and surrounded by the magic of the garden, Mariana began her new chapter as guardian, healer, and bridge between worlds. The journey had only just begun, and the possibilities were endless.